Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast reviews of movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 554, and it is your review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, and as always, is the nerd you're gonna hear the host. Brad is not here today because Brad doesn't go to the movie theaters, but somebody who does go to the movie theaters is none other than the host of the Game Record.
Is there a fucking theater in Arizona where he lives?
The funny thing is, Luis, he has gift cards, like almost 100 and some dollars in gift cards to a movie theater near him, and he hasn't used them.
Boy, better use them before they expire. It's a waste of money. It's basically throwing
Yeah,
money in the fucking fire.
yeah. It's like, bro, just go, man.
Oh
Like,
shit! Now that you remind me, I'm gonna use the gift card that I saw in the fruit basket. You know, all the Mexicans have that shit in the kitchen
ew,
somewhere. So whenever I head over to watch The Last of Us, I'll probably get me a Starbucksy.
Starbucks. Well, um, Luis is here with me. We're gonna be talking about Quantumania, but Luis, I know you just woke up, so
Yeah.
I guess how was your last couple of days since we watched this
Fucking. When did we watch it? Friday.
Friday?
What did I do yesterday? I don't remember what I did yesterday. Um, so that's no bueno. I think I just played games and edited a couple clips. That's about it. Um, I need to update my fucking website because I paid 200 fucking feria to get it whatever renewed for my domain and my website
Oh
last
yeah,
year without realizing. So that put me back a bit. I got scared. I'm like, who charged me like 250? But it's for the website, so I was like, all right, I guess it's not really a big deal. So I might as well get to use it. And yeah, that's about it. It's fucking chaotic, man. It's chaotic trying to figure life out, especially in this
yeah, man.
economy.
Yeah, man. But hey, what's it called? Luis and I went ahead and we watched Emma and the Wasp: Quantumania on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we're here going to be talking about the review. We're going to be reviewing it, but of course, we want to thank each and every one of y'all who are currently listening to us or watching us. And because what's it called? Usually I don't do this with Luis. I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff right out of the way before we get into this review. So
Mm.
if you're watching this on YouTube, please, 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 please make sure that you don't leave this video without clicking on the like button or subscribing to us and clicking on that notification bell before you get out of here, because you might not want spoilers on Quantumania, but you still wanted to support us. So just click that notification bell. You're gonna get a notification every single time that we go live, we upload a video, we post something. Just go and check that out, please. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform that allows you to drop a 5-star review, make sure you do that. They do that on Spotify and they do that on Apple Podcasts. I don't know why any of the other ones still don't allow you, but please drop that 5-star review. It helps us out a lot. And yeah, so this is the third film in the Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Ant-Man,
Mm-hmm.
trilogy. So it's safe to say, y'all, if you aren't caught up in the last films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you haven't watched Loki season one, if you haven't watched any of the Ant-Man films, then you want to get out of here if you care about spoilers. But if
Yeah.
you but if you don't care about spoilers or you've seen any of the aforementioned pieces of content from MCU, then you want to go ahead and stay. Either way, how any of that goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My nose, my nose looks weird, dog. Is that the lighting? Like it goes small and then it gets fucking huge.
It's the lighting, yeah. Lighting's kind of doing that to you.
Fucking hell, man. I
Also,
feel
what did
weird.
Tag say? Founder of what?
I don't know. Founder of views.
Oh, I guess that's just the default it sets it to you.
For me, shit. You got the
Founder of views.
size, hey, mommy. All right, let's get into this shit.
All right. So I got a lot to read, so we'll just get through this. Actually, it's not that much. Um, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a 2023 American superhero film based on a Marvel Comics featuring the characters Scott Lang slash
Mhm.
Ant-Man and Hope Prime slash Wasp, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Motion Pictures. It is the sequel to Ant-Man 2015 and Ant-Man and the Wasp 2018, and the 31st film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Holy shit, 31. The film was directed by Peyton Reed, written by Jeff Loveness, and stars Paul Rudd as Scott Lang and Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, alongside Jonathan Majors, Catherine Newton, David Dastmalchian. Wait, who the fuck is David Dastmalchian in this?
Isn't that the Modoc guy?
No, no, that's no, David Dastmalchian is Russian homie who's friends with
Oh,
him and Michael Pena and Scott
yeah,
Lang.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They didn't appear in this, bro. I don't know. I saw some backlash. Why didn't they add them? Maybe it's a typo. Who knows? Because we definitely didn't fucking see. Oh
Yeah,
wait, you think he voiced one of the
we'll find
Quantumania
out.
characters?
We'll find out. But yeah, Katie O'Brien, William Jackson Harper, Bill Murray, Michelle Pfeiffer, Corey Stoll, and Michael Douglas. In the film, Lang and Van Dyne are transported into the quantum realm along with their family and face Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. Plans for a third Ant-Man film were confirmed in November 2019, with Reed and Rudd returning. Loveness was hired by April 2020, with development of the film beginning during the COVID-19 pandemic. The film's silent new cast members were announced in December 2020. Filming in Turkey began in early February 2021, while additional photography occurred in San Francisco in mid June, ahead of principal photography starting at the end of July at Pinewood Studios in Buckinghamshire and ending in November. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania premiered in Los Angeles on February 6, 2023, and was released in the United States on February 17, 2023. It is as the first film in Phase 5 of the MCU. The film received mixed reviews from critics and has grossed 225 million worldwide so far.
Is it 200? I thought I saw an updated.
200. Well, I think that's right now. I think that's not updated with the Sunday numbers yet. But
Gotcha.
cinematography is done by Bill Pope, edited by Adam Gerstel and Laura Jennings. Music is done by Christoph Beck. And of course, it sits at 2 hours and 4 minutes, and it is currently made 225.3 million at the box office. We have no budget here, but I'm sure that it is around almost
It's
200.
around. Yeah.
Almost, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna give the like plus 300 for solo project
Yeah.
when they have bigger ones. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Well,
think
Luis,
so. Also, real quick, I think he played Veb,
hey,
which
Beb.
was which was the ghoul one, right?
Let me see. I'm looking at the list here because
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, David Desmalchin as Veb, a slime-like creature that lives in the
Okay.
quantum.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the fucking
No
goo.
holes.
Yeah, no hose. I have
Oh,
holes. Okay.
I have holes.
So they added him, but we don't got the homie Luis. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 That makes
Doesn't make
sense.
sense, especially because like such an integral. What's it called?
Their whole crew was it
Yeah.
started Ant Man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what got Paul Rudd as Ant Man.
Yeah.
But oh well, we'll
But
see.
Luis, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it to you first. What are
Uh
your
huh.
initial thoughts? Don't give me the whole review, but what are your initial thoughts on
Um,
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
I thought it was a solid watch just to go see. Definitely funny enough to like be worthwhile. Cause I'm like for nerds be like, oh, but it didn't have this, it didn't tie into this. It's like, nah, fuck that. I'm talking about just family man wanting to go take their kids to a movie, and have a good night with the fam. It's a good movie, at least to that standpoint. Yeah, it's a nice Friday watch, and that's
All
what
right.
we just want in life: a nice Friday watch. Yeah,
All right. Well, my friends, what's it called? You probably have already seen my letterbox reviews. So I thought I don't like this movie, but I don't think it's like
you give it a passable, right? Like three
yeah. I
stars.
was like, and you want to know why?
Why?
Because I don't like Ant Man and the Wasp at all. That second movie to me is the worst one on the in the trilogy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because like I'll say this, here are some things that this movie improves upon.
Okay,
We have a villain who actually matters.
that's
Nobody
true.
remembers Ghost. Does anybody
Yeah, that's
remember
true.
Ghost? The second one, yeah,
I don't think so because we haven't. So like by nerd standards, she's gonna be part of the Thunderbolts,
yeah,
quote unquote, supposedly.
yes,
From anything other than that, no, I doubt we'll remember until we see her on that movie show, whatever it's gonna be. Um, so I'd say no. I don't think a lot of people remember Ghost, even though she was fine as hell.
That I cannot disagree with. But I didn't like this movie, y'all. I felt that I thought it was just okay. I look. I'll get the positives out of the way. Majors is fantastic.
Oh fuck yeah,
He shows up and shows out. 100%. Um, Even though to me the character of Kang still is like I don't understand like why I need to feel threatened by this guy yet. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what's it called? They tell us like all these things like oh he's a conqueror, right? And like he's come to like he can he doesn't need space and time to like tie him to whatever. Like he can travel throughout space and time
Mm-hmm.
and all these things. But at least I know that from what I watched here, the Jonathan Majors is really dedicated to this role, and that he
Yep.
is going to be really, really interesting to watch in these next couple of films. Um, but
Yeah.
I don't. But what's it called? I gotta say the score is decent. Like the music is actually pretty decent. I really liked that part. I think it worked well with what we were. What's it called? With what we were watching.
Hmm.
But and I guess you'll be my first big point of discussion with you, Luis. I
Okay.
thought that CGI was distractingly bad, man, and it's to the point where I can really tell that like these guys are being overworked so much, man. Like,
I think for like certain scenes, definitely. Um, People I guess that don't necessarily watch modern day movies or some shit, I can see where you get the like the whole Spy Kids 3D shit. But no, the Spy Kids 3D, you can tell it's like CGI. This one is like, what the fuck you want them to do? Go to the actual quantum realm? Like they're gonna have an imaginary world, you know. We can't just build sets based on real
the real,
life. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have that feel of CGI because it's uncanny, it's unknown to us. The parts where it does show is like, oh, this is clearly CGI. It's like when they try to prove like their growth and shit, like
yeah,
the size differences, and then there's a scene where both Cassie and Scott like are big. You can tell that one's CGI, and they're just like doing the whole like early 1950s Godzilla stuff where they like
yeah.
hugging and stuff. But aside from that, it's like I wouldn't call it too distracting, but like if I'm hard focused already before the movie, I can see how people are gonna be focused solely on the CGI without continuing on the story, you know. And even then, the story was a little lacking for me at some points. But like, yeah, the CGI was. I won't disagree, but I won't agree 100% to the
I
CGI.
think the one where the scenes where it shows the most
Mm-hmm.
is where there's more lighting in it. So like
Yeah.
all that stuff when when Hank is like the reversals of Hank,
Uh huh.
I could tell like oh my god, like he's in front of a green screen, like he's in front of a green screen,
In the
and but
void.
then the
Yeah.
stuff like when Kang first shows up and he's in that area with like the prison, like
Uh
I was
huh.
like okay that looks fine, but then we step out into these areas where there's like more lighting, and
Mm.
I'm like oh my god, like they really
I think
like
someone brought that up too on Twitter. It's like, why are movies making more darker movies? And they're not
yeah
talking about tone; they're talking about lighting. And it's
yeah
true. Yeah, I think it's an easier way to hide CGI.
CGI
Yeah, because you can't see what you can't see. So
yeah
it's like they definitely try that. But you know, you don't just want you want to show the brightness of the world, right?
yeah
And it's tough. But I will say, to me, if it's a bit better, like the between when they were first skywriting or whatever, the fucking giant manta ray, that looked better than Way of Water to me. And solely because of the fucking motion blur. That's solely because of it. I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. They're flying in the
yeah
fucking thing, and we saw the cool little like turning to the side, but they're already upside down and shit. Like that's cool, yeah, and it looked good. And that's solely because of the motion blur. But overall, yeah, the brightness definitely made
yeah
it a bit wonky at some points.
Yeah, and I gotta say that like you're saying like the story did kind of lack for you. I think it did too for me. I think like the stuff like I really did connect well to the stuff
Mhm.
with Cassie and Scott. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that really worked well and like you have this father who's like really, really what's it called, worried about his daughter,
Hmm.
and it does he just doesn't want her to go down the same path that he did, right? He doesn't want
Yeah,
her to
yeah, yeah.
become a criminal, and like obviously you can tell that Cassie doesn't have the heart that Scott had at his age. Like
Hmm.
she's not doing it because of like being trying to become a criminal. Like she's doing it because she cares about people and she wants to
Yeah.
help them out. So I really like that.
No, definitely same here.
But when it came to like getting into the quantum realm and just all this stuff with like with like Hank and Hope, well not Hope, what's her name, Michelle Pfeiffer, the
Uh,
mom.
is that Michelle Pfeiffer?
Michelle Pfeiffer, yeah, it was just what's it
That's
called?
why I'm attracted. That's why I find her extremely attractive. I'm like, that's a jilf. Yeah.
Yeah,
To me, I think that would have been better for like the second movie because that was all about her
yeah,
in a sense for the second one. That should have been like covered already. Maybe even done like a short, one of those snippets, whatever the thing is. Because yeah, that storyline kind of lacked a little bit. Like I get it, you wouldn't want to talk about
Janet,
the quantum Janet, yeah.
yeah,
You
Janet.
wouldn't want to talk about the quantum realm, but it's like you fought secret shit for the US government. I'm pretty sure you can tell your husband and he won't tell like do anything to stop it, right? It's like
Yeah,
if she would have just warned everyone, this could have been avoided, All of
yeah.
this would have just been a possibility in a realm of possibilities.
And the fact is, like, also, how long has it been now since the snap, since the blip? Like, for
It's
us to
3 years, I think, right?
yeah,
So
like
they got
3 years, and
brought
we're
back.
still kind of with this shit. Like,
Hmm.
okay, please, can we just like forget about all this? Like, oh, what's it called? I have a secret. Like, oh my god, like I never told y'all about the quantum realm and stuff. And I'm like, what? Y'all had
Yeah,
all this time, and after seeing the biggest threat known to man in the Marvel universe come and knocking at your door and snap y'all out of existence. Like I was really amazed with like the whole culture and the creatures of the quantum realm, though.
yeah, of a world within a world. This is
Yeah,
definitely a strange. You can definitely see um how having that free outside of just Kang being there, right, and having his old dictatorship and shit. You can really see how everything just kind of flows here. There's no borders really. There's no like
no,
stuff to restrict them, but they're all vibing. There doesn't seem to be war outside of the actual dictatorship. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe Kang did bring order by having the dictatorship. I don't know. But it seemed like everyone that was living there that just wanted to live uh had that like free trades of like trading, bartering and whatnot, and they
mm.
still had advanced shit because the one like the main weapon for the Rita Repulsa youth one, that shit was cool. The whatever she cut and then like disintegrate, that was cool. But yeah, no, that whole entire community was interesting to see because
yeah,
we haven't gotten anything like that. We've gotten space and we've gotten Earth, but we haven't
yeah.
gotten a world within a world.
Which is what really like interested me there. I thought it was really cool, especially like what's it called, her, the one who looks like Rita, right?
Mhm.
I'm trying not to just keep calling her Rita, but
I forgot
um,
her name.
I can't remember who she was, but I know that it was just like this really cool, like interesting, like subculture, right? Of like
Yeah.
of here, and it's also interesting, like you brought up, like there's no borders or anything, and it's like, well, that kind of makes me realize just what kind of what kind of like leader Kang is. Like he doesn't care about whether everybody's separated or not because he just wants to rule everybody, you
Yeah.
know. And at
Which I
least
wouldn't
that's
mind.
yeah, and at least that's what I got out of Kang. But I still didn't feel like I was threatened by him. I
I
like I
think yeah, I think if we switched some story from the Hope and Janet and Hank story plot, that because that was definitely a B plot, and switched it to show a little bit more menacing, because to me there's two or three parts that really showed how menacing. When we first meet him and he's just waving his hands like almost breaking Casey's arm and shit, and
yeah,
then like
yeah,
holding Paul and shit. That was fucking badass. The second time was the first time Janet and him met, and Janet figured out what he was trying to do, and then it was like, Janet, stop playing with me, give me my fucking shit, you know. That whole, like, him screaming and doing that like photon blast, whatever it is, that's cool as hell. And then after that, I think the last time that I got really like, god damn, is when he first fought Paul, without his armor and shit. Like, yeah, like squash like a bug and all that. And I get it, he should have beat him, but to like, he's still human. He's advanced and he has like advanced technology, but he's still human if you take all of that out. But he was still beating fucking Paul Rudd shit. And if Hope didn't join, Paul would have been dead.
No,
Paul was a
yeah,
goner.
and you see, like that was like I like the what's it called, like how dominating he was, and how like,
Mm-hmm.
and you could really tell like this man is like, y'all are lucky y'all are facing this Kang now, because like nope,
Yeah.
never told to us that this is the Kang, this is like the weakest Kang, but like I'm
Yeah.
going to guess that this is a Kang that is strong, but is not as strong as some of these other ones that we're gonna
Three.
meet,
Yeah.
because he was still whooping that ass.
Yeah, he apparently he was part of like the big four, which was He Who Remains. Well, He Who Remains is more like an outsider of
Yeah,
like the one that won the war between them. But the main four was Immortus, the guy that was like with the giant ass fucking hat.
the Pharaoh or
Yeah, yeah, no. That's Rama Tut, the
Ramatut.
pharaoh.
Okay.
Yeah, Rama
Oh,
Tut.
you're talking about the post-credit scene.
Yeah, the post
So
credit scene and
yes,
stuff.
okay.
So he's part of that group because they were talking like, "Oh, we banished him, but he died," and it's like, "I'm sure you're mad that you didn't kill him, and whatnot." So he was definitely the weakest. Uh, but I mean, to be fair, he was fighting three other versions of him, so they probably jumped him to
Yeah.
kick him out. Um, but yeah, no, he's definitely the weakest. And even if he is the weakest, he could still hold his own. And I'm pretty sure if he didn't get outnumbered by the millions of ants that were advanced in
Technology.
intelligence and
Yeah.
technology, yeah, he probably would have beat the Avengers.
Yeah.
But I mean, this isn't their movie, so they weren't here.
Yeah.
But I wish I would have gotten more scenes like that with Jonathan Majors. I hope we get some in Loki, honestly, because I know he's going to be a big part on season 2 at least. I don't know if it's just going to be cameos or not, but I hope to see more of him before the whole Kang Dynasty Avengers film rolls through, which would probably be what, 2025, like in 2 years, if anything. At that, no, probably 2026, right?
Kang Dynasty. Wait, are you asking about Kang Dynasty?
Yeah, like what, like an estimate based on
2025.
2025. Oh, okay,
I think that movie comes out in 2025. I'm not sure, but I know that like it's what's it called? Relatively close. It's not 2026.
okay, yeah, because like if we
Yeah,
base it off of the
2025.
first phase or first Avengers stuff, it's like the first
May
five
2nd,
movies.
2025.
Yeah,
May
oh,
2nd,
okay.
2025. Yep.
Okay. So it's not too far. But I
Not
hope we
too
see him
far.
before I just want to see more of Jonathan Majors because he's really balling out on that role, man. Even
Yeah.
the in the post credit scene where we see all the different versions of him doing different versions of himself. That was
Yeah.
funny, but it also shows his range because he could go from maniacal laughing to the whole like there was one that bowed to the big three and shit, and
Yeah.
then just the whole hype. Like it felt there was a bunch of Jonathan Majors compared to the Paul Rudd one, where everything blended well together,
Yeah.
CGI wise and like just character wise.
Yeah.
Um, but
How do we feel about we have to talk about it, Luis. We're not gonna get out of
which
here
one?
without it.
Which one?
How do we feel about Modoc?
Oh,
Um,
we did talk about it a little bit in the car when we left the movie. But if it had to be done, just get it done and get it out. Because when you do CGI of characters who are meant to be cartoony, it's impossible to have it will have that uncanny valley, and that's where we get the whole thing of like, ew, it doesn't look right. That's where we get that because we haven't seen it in real life, so we have no point of reference to create an accurate CGI representation of it. So I mean, firstly, if you can't do it right, don't do it at all. But
please
if
don't
you
do
are
it
gonna
right.
do it, just get it off immediately. So I'm glad they just killed him off because I would hate to see him be in
Yeah.
other films. But
Yes.
Jesus Christ, man,
I
that
did
shit.
like the idea of it being Darren though.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Even
100%.
though I think Yellow Jacket was a really weak villain in
Mm-hmm.
Ant-Man in the first Ant-Man. But
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea that it was Darren and that we finally got this like close to the chapter because I feel like that was gonna be necessary for us to move on with Cassie Lang and her being like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
here we go. I finally, I'm conquering the guy who almost killed me. Like
That
this is the guy
had
who almost killed
probably
me.
has trauma and shit, PTSD.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
But oh my god, man. If you guys were gonna do it, please, you didn't have to have his face showing all that time. Like
Yeah, the mask
one
would have been
reveal,
fine.
cool, and then keep the mask on him. They that was done dirty, bro. I'm so sorry, but that shit looked bad.
Yeah, we also didn't need an ass shot of him. That
Yeah,
was
we
a.
didn't need
I
an
get
ass
it.
shot.
That's Marvel humor, but it's like,
I didn't
I
like
don't
the
want.
baby legs joke though.
Yeah, the fucking. I think that's what puts me off because they made the baby jokes and shit, and then we see an ass. It's just fucking.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The fuck?
nasty ass. But yeah, honestly, it looked better with the mask on because it looked like it belonged, right? It looked like it
Yeah.
could be a machine. But yeah, when the face was there, I think I could probably get on Blender or something, make my face how that was,
Yeah,
and get
because
an
like
acid and just
if
put
we
it
look
together.
at the way Modoc looks in like comics, animated series, his face isn't stretched out like that throughout the whole thing. It's kind of just like this part right here where
Yeah,
his face is.
it's like
And
a
even
square of
then,
it. Yeah,
yeah, even then in like the animated series they have on Hulu, his face isn't completely stretched out. So
yeah,
I was just left really like flabbergasted at at that. I was like, but I'm glad, like you said, if we're gonna do it as a one off, so that way he can die here. Because I'd be damned if I saw this motherfucker
yeah. I
in
don't
Kang
need.
Dynasty, bro.
If you want to bring the actor back, just bring another version of Yellow Jacket or some shit. Bring like a variant of him. Now that we
Yeah,
have variants, but I'm like, dog, that this shit look wonky. So I think the majority of it, honestly, if I'm being, I think the stretching and all that is to accommodate time because they didn't have to worry. If they stretched the face, they didn't have to worry about building more around him.
yeah.
Um, to make the CGI. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't work for Disney. I don't work in those
Obviously that
companies.
goes back to the whole like the abuse of the VFX artists and how
Yeah.
little time they have for previs and stuff. Like, they just want them to be, put it on and pull it out. Come on, let's
Where
go.
supposedly this phase should have less of that. I
Yeah.
think Feige put a post up saying it's like we heard you, quality over quantity,
Hmm.
and we're gonna focus more on like the just overall assets of each film. So I hope we see better stuff around that. Because there were some stuff in Phase Four that had really good, like the CGI in Shang Chi when it was first starting. That
Oh
was
yeah,
was pretty
the
good. That was
fucking
great.
the dragon
The dragon,
looks so cool.
the fake, so the green screen when they were fighting in Tokyo or Hong Kong, I think it was.
Hmm.
That was all CGI. It was just hard lights, IRL, and then like a green screen and the foreground
Hmm.
of the surroundings. But yeah, I mean, it's possible to have good films. It's just they got overworked probably with the shows mostly because it was a lot of
Yeah.
episodes and a lot of shows. Um, but I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have any more shows from that I'm knowledgeable. Just Loki,
So just
um,
Loki and Secret Invasion. That's
Secret
it.
Invasion. That's right, because
So
they
that's
switched
what
it
I
from a
believe.
movie to yeah.
Yeah, I believe that's the plan for this year. It is like the three films and two shows.
Hmm.
That's it. Um, but I'll say that, yeah, and the comedy, it worked here and there. I thought the stuff with like,
Yeah.
in the beginning with like, oh, thanks Spider Man, like all of that stuff really worked. And then once you get into the second act, and they were just hammering in this stuff, like, okay, it was cool when like it was pretty funny when Baskin Robbins Paul Rudd shows up
Oh
inside
yeah.
the thing.
The multiversal
But
engine. Yeah.
when it kept coming and coming, I was like, okay, bro, like please, just slow it down, like please. And it was funny at the beginning, but it kind of like
Hmm.
got there, but it wasn't like exhausting levels of humor like with the goats and Thor: Love and
In Thor
Thunder.
and Love and Thunder. I was gonna say, yeah, that's one thing that I do enjoy about Ant Man. We have the ability to be as whimsical and as jokey as we want with Ant Man as a character, because that's what Paul Rudd radiates. But
Yeah,
not with Thor, and because
yeah,
we already established he was serious from the first one and especially the second one, which I don't even
yeah,
remember. Um, but yeah, like Ragnarok, that's where Taiki got in,
yeah,
and that's where like the third one was okay on jokes and whatnot, but we switched to the character stuff,
yeah,
which I to me it doesn't really work. And I get it, like creator fluidity, but when you have an already established character, not much creativity can go into it, you know.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the whimsical jokes that they showed in this film wasn't overwhelming. I think it had enough to where it was like, oh, this is fun. I think that's where I realized it's like it's an okay watch. Like I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
watching on a Friday night with my family if I
So
went.
yeah, I want to see when this drops on what's it called, on Disney Plus. I want to see like how different this is gonna look on the TV compared to like the theater,
The theater, yeah.
because I'm pretty sure there's still like, like, let's be real here. What's it called? It's not always completely done. Like they still do a little bit of like, you know enhancing on the effects when it gets sent to physical. Um, that's why, like I've said the same as like I heard from everybody who watched Way of Water, and they're like, yeah, I had a little problem with the premium formats, but in digital cinema, it looked fine. And I was like, okay, well, I'll see what that looks like in when it drops on Disney Plus. But I'll guess just to get out of here, I'll go ahead and ask you what's it called? What are your final thoughts in the final verdict, for final verdict, Luis? Of course, out of 10. Remember?
I'll give it a 6, or yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And if I add another thing, it's just because of Jonathan, because his
Yeah,
performance, bro. I can't wait to see him in Creed, because that
he's
man
got a
is
yearbook
is
run,
black
baby.
excellence in its physical actor industry form, because he has fucking bodied all the roles that he's got, that I've seen him in the last 6 months. Because I'd never watched Lovecraft Country, but I want to get into it solely because I've seen some clips that like show it's actually entertaining. But also the Jonathan's character in that. Um, but yeah, a 6 out of 10
He's so
solely.
good in Lovecraft
Yeah,
Country, bro. Um, it sucks that that show got canceled.
cat
Or
did it
like,
get did it leave on a
yeah,
cliffhanger?
yes. And the what's it
Uh,
called, the creator actually released like a whole, like, the whole treatment for what season 2 was going to be and everything. And
oh,
but if you do watch it, let me know, because I think he's amazing in that. And I only got to watch
yeah,
like 3 episodes, bro. I'm gonna
damn.
finish it, but he was so good in that show.
Was that his breakout role?
Yeah, I would say that that's his breakout.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I
yeah.
mean, it's, oh man, like that's pretty big for him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, six
Um,
out of ten.
yeah, I'm going to come in a lot lower, y'all. Right now, as I'm sitting, I am feeling this movie at a good, like, a 4.5 out of 10. I actually, there's a lot of things that they can improve upon here. I think it is a little bit of a rough start to this phase, but I just wish that script would have been a little bit more tight, a little more like fleshed out. And
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, like, I look at this like this being the second phase in this new arc, and by that time we kind of already had felt the threat of Thanos in phase 2.
Yeah.
Like, when
Oh,
when we
true.
look at yeah when we look at Kang coming in here, this should have been like Thanos coming out in Guardians 1, where we saw that motherfucker and we were like, oh, yeah, this guy means business. Like, I don't know, we don't know what the hell this guy's gonna do.
I think that's where they want the looming threat to be, is the
Yeah,
uncertainty of what the fuck they're planning. Because honestly,
yeah,
that's kind of scary in itself. That's anxiety.
yeah. But yeah, guys, that's it, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop the banner here. But I want to thank you all so much. That concludes our review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and of course, we want to thank everybody who watched this, who listened to this. If you are so kind, please make sure you check us out on the nerdcore.com, Twitter at the nerdcore, Instagram at the nerd. Well, I'm sorry, Twitter at the nerdcore underscore, Instagram at the nerdcore, patreon.com/nerdcore. For $1, you were able to listen to this early or watch this early. And of course, if you want to get into discussion and talk with us about movies and stuff like that, check our Discord. It's in the description of our video and our audio episode. We want to thank the wonderful people who support us, like our producers, Shane and Kylie. You can find Shane at ThriftedIL on Twitter and Instagram at Prison City Shit. Buy something from Shame by going to prisoncityvintage.com. Kylie can be found at Kylie PLI on Twitter and Kylie P Sports 90 on Instagram. Luis, where can the good people find you? I know you
Oh
got
god,
to.
I'm like fucking. That was a long ass fucking. It's fucking whatever that was. Plug, I guess. Yeah. I mean, you can find me on YouTube at Luigi on YouTube.
Yep.
Cause someone there's a yeah, dude. I was searching. I was gathering information and stats because I'm trying to grow. It has helped, but there's a lot of Luigi's.
Yep.
They all don't post anything, so I hope by the time that I at least get to 1K, it'll bump me up to where people can just search my just Luigi and they'll find me, right? But we'll have to see. So yeah, I mean, if you could do a big favor and just follow there, and yeah, Luigi on TikTok, and that's it.
Yep. We are going to be on the Last of Us episode 6 review on but by the time
Tomorrow,
this
yep.
is up, it should already you already should have listened to that, but if you haven't, make sure you check that out. And of course, yeah, I don't have a Brad to send it out. So I'm just going to say big, small, medium, Kang's going to fuck you all up.
Yeah, dude.